What's up, YouTube? Ryan back today with another Minor League Monday today. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're switching it up today on Minor League Monday. Kylie Mcdaniel, who is a baseball insider who specifically tries to project the future from his own words, talks about MLB players, and he also talks a lot about prospects. If you guys don't know who he is or haven't seen before, this is his Twitter page, just ESPN Baseball Insider, trying to tell the future, literally. And then if you've ever watched MLB Draft, he is the ESPN analyst who's on the draft booth. Like, he's one of those like 3 or 4 people on that booth. So someone that's definitely always in the loop. So definitely someone that knows what he's talking about. I find him very optimistic on younger players. He loves younger talent, which I mean, I get. Obviously, if you want to find a Hall of Famer or a superstar, they have to be great at a young age. So I'm very curious. And what we're doing today is we're breaking down his brand new list of his top 50 prospects. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm really excited. It's going to be a live review. Honestly, I'll show you what I'm looking at here is literally this. And I went like this just to make sure it was an actual list, and I didn't even look at it. All I did was scroll down, and this is going to be brand new, fresh off the top. So we're just going to go through, give my honest thoughts, opinions on his rankings, and yeah, super excited. So before we jump into this video, if you guys like this video, want me to do more reviews on this, like maybe like accept your guys' prospect list and break them down, because honestly, I think everyone has a different opinion and a lot of people's prospects lists differ. I'm sure mine will differ from Kylie's here. Super excited though, because I feel like honestly, this is someone I have similar reviews to as far as when you listen to him talking the draft. Like, I thought Jordan Lawler's #1 draft pick in this draft class, and so did he. So like, that's one similarity I found, and he was like shocked when he went number 6 to the Diamondbacks, which I'm pumped about being a D-backs fan. But yeah, maybe we'll do more of this stuff on like live reviews on prospect lists moving forward. All right, let's jump into it. Let's see what he's got here. #1 player. All right, I'm trying to do one at a time here. So it looks like Wander Franco. I'm going to actually switch my webcam here. All right, perfect. We got it zoomed in. I like what it looks like. Let's just go with it. #1, Wander Franco. Wander Franco actually just graduated from the prospect list. He just hit his 150th plate appearance, so he's no longer a prospect. And this is surprising just because this was written, I think, 4 days ago. Maybe he wrote this a while back and he just never published it. So Wander Franco, not really a prospect anymore, but I wouldn't argue with it. I think Wander Franco at the time, he's just the best hitter. He's the best hitter in the minor leagues. He proved it time and time again. He absolutely rakes from both sides of the plate. He's done okay so far in the MLB. He's been starting to heat up, especially lately, but we're not going to focus too much on it just because, you know, I agree with it. #2, Adley Rutschman. Okay, I also agree on this. So Adley Rutschman, he's now the #1 prospect on the MLB pipeline since Wander Franco graduated. Adley Rutschman's one of those guys, really great plate discipline, elite plate discipline. Really good hitter from both sides, shows a lot of power from the left side of the plate. And on the right-handed batter's box, the dude's hitting like 500 this year. Like, it's crazy how good of a hitter he is as a righty. I agree with #2 as well. Can't be mad about that. #3, okay, this is a little interesting. This is definitely different than maybe I would have it. So Bobby Witt Jr. at #3, and I get it. Bobby Witt Jr. definitely has the upside to be #3, like 100%. He has 23 home runs this year. And what I've said in some of my past videos talking about Bobby Witt Jr., I just feel like he has improvements to still be made on base percentage wise. Like, he's sitting right now between like a 350 and 370 on base percentage on the season, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad, especially for someone that's hitting for power. But obviously, you'd love to see that 400 mark. Like, that's when you see, holy crap, this dude's elite. I don't hate this ranking. I would have Bobby Witt Jr. in my top 5 for sure. And then #4 on his list, CJ Abrams, San Diego Padres. I don't hate this spot. I think CJ Abrams' performance in AA this year before getting injured drops him a little bit. I would still have Abrams in my top 10 for sure, but I'm not sure I'd have him in my top 5 currently. I think there's some other players I like a little bit more as far as higher ceiling. CJ Abrams just never going to be a guy that hits like 30, 40 home runs. He's going to be a very good hitter, and I love CJ Abrams, but as far as like a top 5 prospect, I'm just not really sure. Like, he's more of a speedy guy, leadoff hitter type player. Not that he doesn't have power. I think he can be a 20, 25 home run guy at his ceiling. But 4, I think, is a stretch. I think 4 is a little bit of a stretch here. Number 5, Marco Luciano. Okay, this was a player I was thinking about when I said I didn't think CJ Abrams was a top 5 because Marco Luciano is a top 5 for me, and I would have Marco Luciano in my top 4 probably. A little bit of on-base concern similar to Bobby Witt Jr. when I think about Marco Luciano because he does everything else super well, hits for a ton of power. I think he has 19 home runs this year. His on-base percentage is similar to Bobby Witt Jr.'s, is like the 360 range, so not bad. And obviously both of them play the elite shortstop position. All 3 of these players, including CJ Abrams, so a lot of shortstops on this list. And Wander Franco, like literally 4 of the top 5 are shortstops on his list. I would have J-Rod in my top 5. I would be kicking out CJ Abrams out of my top 5 and putting Julio Rodriguez in there. I don't know where Julio is going to land on his list. Let's see who he's got at number 6. Okay, at least number 6 is Julio Rodriguez for him. And I can live with this ranking, but I don't love it. I honestly, like, top 3 prospect for me, Julio Rodriguez. But at least he's number 6. Try to speed it up a little bit here. Riley Green, this is a mix-up. This is a good one, actually. This is something I agree with. On the MLB pipeline, Riley Green's number 13, and him bringing him all the way up to 7, I actually really like. I'm not sure if I would have him at 7 still. I would have Riley Green in the top 10, I think. But I really like it. I think Riley Green's a fantastic player, fantastic hitter. He's one of my favorite prospects. He looks really solid at AA this year. He's been super consistent, hitting like 280. But definitely, this is a fun one. This is one that he jumped up the rankings for sure a lot on. And, I mean, I don't hate it at all. Riley Green, he's a 5-tool player in my eyes. And I actually like what he said here. He said he could reasonably be 10 spots below here, but I'm convinced Green will be quick, moving, strong, everyday outfielder with a number of ways to create value. I 100% agree with that take. So don't hate it. Don't hate it at all. Number 8, Francisco Alvarez. I disagree. Like 100%. This dude's not even, he might not even be in my top 20 right now. Like definitely out of my top 15. I don't even know if he's in my top 20. Francisco Alvarez, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not there yet. Like MLB Pipeline has him ranked at number 32, and I honestly like that a little bit better. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, Francisco Alvarez, he destroyed A-ball. Low A, he did not belong there. But in high A so far, he's hitting 232 with a 335 on base percentage. He's got 12 home runs there over 56 games, but I can't put someone that's hitting 230 in just high A. I can't put him in my top 10. I think that's crazy. That's a very optimistic pick. I just don't agree with it. I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Francisco Alvarez. From what I've seen in high A, he's not there yet. Number 9. Ooh, I like this one. Okay, me and him agree on this. Grayson Rodriguez is my favorite prospect arm. Like, he's my favorite arm in the minors. Grayson Rodriguez, that number 9, I don't hate it. I don't know if I have him in my top 10 just because I love so many hitters, but as far as a pitcher, he is my number 1 pitcher. So I completely fell in love with Grayson Rodriguez in 2019 when he had 94 innings pitched and 129 strikeouts, averaging 12.4 strikeouts per 9. In 2021, he's been even better. He's averaging 14.4 strikeouts per 9. Over his minor league career now, 12.8 strikeouts per 9. His strikeout to walk ratio is 4.24. Like, that's the biggest thing for me. Like, an elite pitcher can make hitters swing and miss and then also not walk people. So Grayson Rodriguez has that. It's electric. It's like an easy, like 96 miles an hour. Like, I agree with it. I love this one. And I actually am really enjoying this prospect list because he is dropping some names that no one would have in their top 10. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. Number 10, Spencer Torkelson. I agree with this. I agree with Torkelson being a top 10. His play in AA has been a little lackluster, I would say. But, like, I would have Spencer Torkelson in there over Francisco Alvarez. Literally 7 out of the 7 days of the week. Like, Spencer Torkelson right now is hitting like 240, 245 in AA. And for his first year in pro ball hitting wood bat, like, it's okay. Like, I would like to see it better, obviously, but he still has like an 850 OPS. Like, he's getting walked a lot. He's still getting on base. He's not hitting a crappy 240. He's also walked 54 times in 76 games. So, yeah, getting on base there. Everyone knows that watches this channel, I'm a Spencer Torkelson fanboy. Like, huge ASU fan. I watched Spencer Torkelson a ton in college. So, he's a top 10 for me for sure. He also has 16 home runs, which is showing that he does have that elite power. He's been hitting some no-doubters lately, too. So, I agree on that. Top 10. Who's he got at number 11? Brandon Marsh. This is interesting. So Brandon Marsh just got brought up. He's been pretty slow so far. He's hitting 150 over 21 games, 74 plate appearances. So slow start in the MLB, but talking on his minor league career, I guess I could see why he has him ranked like maybe like maybe I'd go like top 30, but I think 11 is a huge push, like a huge push. And I don't hate it. I like that he is being really bold with this list, but I just don't agree on that. Number 12, Alek Manoah. Again, someone that's not a prospect anymore, but I completely agree if he was. Alek Manoah is someone that I have said for a while now. I think he's better than Nate Pearson, who is the Blue Jays' #1 prospect. Yeah, and he says it right here, a start away from losing his prospect eligibility with a 2.47 ERA. So, like, Alek Manoah has been someone I've been high on at least for over a year now. And, yeah, I agree with that. If he was a prospect still, I'd go for it. Wow. Okay, this is bold. He is dropping some really young names here. Like, I knew coming into this list, he likes those younger players because if you looked at his draft projections, like every one of his top picks were like high schoolers. Tyler Soderstrom at 13 is nuts. He's a 26th pick, and I think 13's too high, honestly. He's a good hitter. He's showing that he's a very good hitter. 306 batting average, 390 on base percentage, 957 OPS this year, 12 home runs over 57 games. Like, he is a very good hitter in A-ball. I just don't think he's a top 20 yet. Top 50, sure. Top 50, I would be happy to see him on this list because I do see the upside. Number 13 is pushing it, though. For me to get in the top 15, just getting drafted, even especially lower in the first round, he would have to be hitting like over 350 with like a 450 on base percentage. Like, he's just not there yet. He doesn't even have a 400 on base percentage in low A. So, again, I think he's a great player, but not top 13. No way. Next up, another young guy, another shortstop too. So many shortstops on this list. So, Noelvi Marte for the Seattle Mariners. I don't hate it, honestly. I would have him in the top 50. Maybe the top 30 even. I think Noelvi Marte is really raw, and as if you watch my recaps, he hit 5 home runs last week. So he's just tapping into that power. And just like he said in this, hasn't tapped into his power quite yet. I don't hate it. I don't think he's top 15. Like, I like him in the top 30 for sure. I like him in the top 30. He's a really good player, but he's been inconsistent. Not top 15. Not yet. Next up, Hunter Green. I like this. I actually like this. This is someone that I didn't even think about being on this list for some reason. But Hunter Green for sure in my top 20, 100%. I mean, the dude hit 104 miles an hour once this year. He sits like 100 miles an hour. He's coming off a Tommy John season, and so far this season, he has a 2.84 ERA, a 3.6 in AAA since he's been there now for 9 starts. But he's still rocking a 12.6 strikeouts per 9. He has improvements. If he stops walking people, he's averaging 3.3 walks per 9 right now. It's still a 3.87 strikeout to walk ratio, but if he cuts down walks, like, no one hits Hunter Green hard. So I respect it. I respect that he's there. Brennan Davis, top 20. I definitely agree with this. I think he's pushing the top 20 just because a little inconsistencies here and there, but his future stars performance, winning MVP there, just he has some crazy weeks. Like, he's either hit or miss, it seems like, this season with that inconsistency. But he's having a really good year. He's got like 900 OPS in AA, first time in AA. I think Brennan Davis has a lot of upside. He's a good athlete, so not bad at all. 17, Nolan Gorman. I like that. Top 20 for sure. He's moving up to AAA. Starting off a little slow there, but he's still putting together some good performances. Yeah, I agree with that. We're going to start moving a little faster here just because this video is going to be really long if we don't. Brett Baty, 18. I like Brett Baty in the top 20. And this is what I was really excited about with all these bold statements. Like, MLB Pipeline has Baty at number 71. So I like him as a top 20, top 30 for sure. 18 might be a little high for now, but what he did at high A was like ridiculous. He was like the best player in high A. So love to see that. And that's kind of where I'm like, why would he have Francisco Alvarez in the top 10 who has completely struggled at high A, and Brett Baty at 18, who is literally like the best hitter in high A? So like, that's weird to me. I know they play different positions. Catchers are hard to come by, but 19, Shane Baz. I like this. Shane Baz is looking very good this season. Sits like 96 miles an hour. Doesn't walk a lot of people, which I really like, and has nasty stuff. So I like that. Alek Thomas at 20. That is way too high. As a Diamondbacks fan, no freaking way is he a top 20. He is maybe a top 50. I would have Alek Thomas probably top 100, maybe barely. Honestly, Alek Thomas is good, but I just don't see him having that high of a ceiling. I just don't. Like, he's a good player. I see him being like an everyday outfielder, hit like 280 with like 12 home runs a season. Like, I don't see him being a top 20 prospect at all. Like, I like Corbin Carroll a lot more than Alek Thomas. Like, straight up. I think Corbin Carroll, if he put Corbin Carroll at 20, I would be less upset. But as a Diamondbacks fan who follows Diamondbacks really hard, I just don't see it with Alek Thomas. I just don't. Number 21, Matt Manning. Not crazy about it, to be honest. Like, this is his third best prospect pitcher. I'm just not crazy about it. I think Matt Manning's a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but I just think there's better pitchers out there. I don't think he's a top 3 pitcher in the minors. I just don't. Like, I would have him in my top 50 probably, but not number 21. 22, Nate Pearson. I'm fine with this. I think Nate Pearson's stuff is disgusting. He has some mechanical issues to work out personally, because if you ever watch him, and this is something on Baseball Central I watched last year where Mark DeRosa, I think, was breaking it down. He literally doesn't look when he throws the ball. He's looking to the side when he releases. Like, he's not aiming the ball. Like, he's just throwing. He needs to pitch. So if he makes that adjustment, I think Nate Pearson would be unstoppable. I'm fine with him at 22 there. Number 23, Nick Lodolo. I actually like that. That's a bold statement. Another player that he's putting at a premium. I like it, though. Nick Lodolo has been pretty much unhittable this year. Over 11 starts this year, 2.31 ERA in AA and AAA. So I like that. I think Nick Lodolo is definitely deserving top 25. And I would have been a lot happier to see Nick Lodolo instead of Matt Manning. Like, for sure in the top 25. Next up, Max Meyer. This is good. I like this. Max Meyer has been dominating. He's been the best pitcher in AA this entire season. There's not very many good pitchers this year in the minors, and Max Meyer's been a constant this whole time. He's rocking a 1.92 ERA in AA, and this is coming from straight from college to AA, 1.92 ERA. Not a huge strikeout guy, but I think I kind of like that. Usually I want the strikeout guy, but Max Meyer, he averages like 1 strikeout per inning, which isn't terrible, but it's not like a Grayson Rodriguez. I like him in the top 25 for sure. Number 25, Ronnie Mauricio. Dude, is this guy from New York? Can someone look it up? Like, I literally don't know if he's from New York, because Ronnie Mauricio is not a top 25 prospect. He's just not. Like, I just don't see where he's seeing this based. Like, if you just have to look at his stats. Like, 713 OPS his first year in rookie ball, 665 in 2019. And then this year, the highest it's been at 727 OPS. He's shown a lot more power this year than other years. He has 15 home runs, and he's hit some no-doubters. But I have him in my top 100. I don't even know if I've had Ronnie Mauricio in my top 50, honestly. Like, he's hitting 240 at high A at 20 years old. Like, I don't love that at all. Number 26, Anthony Volpe. I like this one. I really do. I would have him higher than a couple people on this list just based off how he's done this year. Volpe was a former first-round pick. He had back end of the first round in 2019, 30th overall. This year he's played in A ball and high A, and he's combined over 76 games in 307 with a 439 on base percentage. Absolutely love that. 1,052 OPS, 17 home runs. Like, that is a stat line that I can get behind. I can absolutely get behind that stat line. Even since coming up to high A in 22 games, 400 on base percentage. Like, I would put him ahead of a few of these guys. I'd have him ahead of Tyler Soderstrom and he had Soderstrom at 13, and especially ahead of Ronnie Mauricio. Like, that's not even the same conversation for me, honestly. Like, I don't like that. Like, this is a perfect example. Like, I'm not a fan of this. Like, both shortstops, both 20 years old, and they're both playing in high A. One has a 400 on base percentage, and the other one has a 278 on base percentage. Like, not a fan of that one. All right, number 27, Jordan Walker. I love Jordan Walker on this list. I definitely have him in my top 50. And since I haven't made a top 50 of my own, and I probably will do that, I'll probably do that here shortly, because it would be nice to be able to compare something, but it gets a little fuzzy after like top 25. Like, I don't know exactly where I would place these people, but I like Jordan Walker a lot. I think he's a really good hitter. He got moved up to high A this year pretty quickly, first year in the pros. He's been struggling a little bit more there, 267 batting average, 319 on base percentage, 2 home runs. He's starting to heat up a little bit, so we'll see what he ends up at. But I like Jordan Walker for sure in the top 30. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the top 30 for Jordan Walker. Number 28, Jordan Lawler. Okay, so he's including draft picks. And see, this is where he thought Jordan Lawler was the number 1 draft pick. Like, he had him number 1. I'm fine with this for now. I just don't have a lot to go off of as far as pro experience. Like, he hasn't played yet, so I don't have any personal beliefs or anything. I would have him ranked higher as a prospect than Alek Thomas. I just would. Number 29, Marcelo Mayer. Okay, these two are very similarly ranked in the draft. Very similar players. One lefty, one righty. I think Jordan Lawler has a brighter future offensively for me personally, as far as I know and what I've learned from the draft. But I'm still not crazy about putting high school picks in the top 30. I'm just not, just because I need to see them play first, but I get it. So I'm not mad about that. Number 30, Jack Leiter. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with that Jack Leiter for a prospect ranking in the top 30. He's elite. He's definitely the best pitcher from the draft. He's going to be fantastic. Best mechanics I've ever seen. Like, ridiculous. He's saying his ceiling is a Walker Buehler style ace. I think that's pretty accurate. Like, definitely a stud with Jack Leiter. Corbin Carroll. So he's got 3 Diamondbacks in the top 31. I'm here for it. Like, please be a thing. But, like, as a Diamondbacks fan, I just don't see it. I like Corbin Carroll in the top 50 because I don't see Corbin Carroll being like a home run guy. Just similar to what he said, 15 to 20 home runs. I think he's going to be a good player. I definitely do. I think he's going to be a leadoff hitter of the future for the D-backs, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm happy he's here. I just don't know why Alek Thomas was so high. I'm still, like, wrapped around that. Reed Detmers, number 32. I'm fine with this. I have been very transparent on my Twitter that I'm not happy that the Angels rushed him to the MLB. Like, he is just getting shelled in his first 2 starts, like a 10 ERA. Like, he's not even competing. I'm not a fan of that. I think he's a perfect example of rushing someone too quickly. He was doing pretty good in AA, like 3.5 ERA with like a crazy K rate. 1 start at AAA, did really well, no runs, and they just brought him up. It's like, nah, man, you got to give these guys time to develop. Even jumping from AA to AAA, like that's a difference there, especially from the pitching standpoint. Like, you're getting in AAA, you're getting professional hitters that have been in the minors for probably a decade. So I would give him at least like 5 starts in AAA before bringing him up to make sure he's ready. But yeah, I like this 32 slot. I just don't like that the Angels already have him pitching in the pros. 33, Keibert Ruiz. I'm fine with it. I like it more now that he's on Nationals because he's going to have somewhere to go. He wasn't going to play on the Dodgers. Like, this is someone that probably should be in the pros already. So I like this choice more that he's a National. 34, Brujan. Don't hate it. Don't love it. I would have Brujan in my top 100 for sure. I don't know if I have him in my top 50, just because I'm not sure what his ceiling really is as a top 50 prospect. I like some other guys more, but I don't hate it. 35, DL Hall. I like DL Hall a lot. So DL Hall this year, 3.13 ERA at AA over 7 starts. He has elbow tendonitis, though, so he's been shut down for a while. I was on the 60-day IL. I would have him higher personally on my own list. Like, I'd have him in front of a few of these hitters for sure. Like, maybe even like a top 25. I really like DL Hall. I think the future of the Orioles pitching is in great hands. 36, Gabriel Moreno. I'm fine with this, and honestly, I would rather him be where Francisco Alvarez was, because over 32 games in AA this year, Moreno's hitting 373 with a 441 on base percentage, 1100 OPS, 8 home runs in those 32 games. And he's only played 32 games because based on what I'm looking at now, he took a pitch in the hand and messed up his thumb. But over those 32 games, he was absolutely destroying the baseball. 37, Robert Hassel III. Happy with that. Top pick from the 2020 draft. I think he's really solid. What are my dogs doing? My dog is that one. The Australian Shepherd. That's my wife's parents' dog. We're watching him this weekend. Crazy dogs. You have to just deal with them. But Robert Hassel, top pick in the 2020 draft. I really like Robert Hassel for sure. 38, Aroldis Martinez. Fine with that. Christian Pache. I'm fine with that. Dropped down a lot. He's like on the pipeline at the start of the year. He's like a top 15 prospect. I'm definitely okay with that ranking. 40, Jose Barrero. I like it. Henry Davis. I'm fine with that. Number 42, Oswald Peraza. I think that's a little high, honestly. Looking at his stats, 350 on base percentage this season, 12 home runs over 80 games, 291 batting average. Since coming to AA, he's rocking a 792 OPS. I would like to see on base percentage higher with these top 50 prospects. I really would. I'm not crazy about it. Top 100. I'm not sure I put him in the top 50. And we're getting towards the ends here. 43, Luis Matos. Love this. Love this. I would have Luis Matos higher, personally. I would have him probably top 35, top 30 maybe. I think he's really good. Very good player. He's hitting like 330 and A ball. You know, like those are the stats you want to see. Like someone that's just raking. He's shown some power. He has like 9 home runs. I like that pick. I'm definitely in my top 50, but I would have him higher than a few of these players. 44, Diego Cartaya. Why? He just likes catchers, I think. Like, I don't hate it. Like, looking at his stats this year over 31 games, he was doing really well before being injured. 298 batting average, 409 on base percentage, 1,000 OPS, 10 home runs over 31 games. Like, really impressive in A-ball. So I guess I get it. I would have rather seen Miguel Vargas. I think Miguel Vargas is a better prospect for the Dodgers right now. I wouldn't have Diego Cartaya in my top 50. Like, I'd rather see Andy Pages there too. Number 45, Khalil Watson. I don't hate it. I'm fine with it. Top pick. I think he's a little small to be a top 50 prospect, and I know size isn't a huge thing in baseball. I just need to see it in person first to see how he's going to play. He's like 5'8", so we'll see. We'll see. A lot of people hate that I say size is a thing, but it's a thing. 46, Josiah Gray, I'm fine with. Tristan Cassis at 47, good. I was waiting to see where Cassis was going to be on this list because he's definitely top 50. Probably for me, like top 40. Does have some inconsistencies at time at the plate, but his power is ridiculous. Like, just ridiculous. Easily 30 homer caliber. Like, easily 30 home runs. I don't think there's a season he's not going to hit 30 home runs if he's playing 162 games. 48, Josh Young, and I would have Young way up on this list. I would have Young in top 25. Like, he is dominating this year. Josh Young's someone who started the season late, too, so he's only played 42 games. He had a foot injury. But over those 42 games, he's hitting .307 with a .366 on-base percentage, .914 OPS. Yeah, probably would like to see his on-base percentage a little bit higher, take a little more walks. He only walked 13 times over 42 games, so definitely opportunity there. But 10 home runs, like, I would have Josh Young up in the top 30 probably. 49, Cade Cavalli, I like that. Really good mechanics. Top pitcher draft pick out of the 2020 draft. Throws gas. Can hit triple digits. I like him in the top 50. And I have never even heard of Ryan Pepiot. I'm honestly disappointed. I wasn't sure who this player was. He's done solid this year. 3.41 ERA between AA and AAA. 23 years old. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I mean, I wouldn't have Ryan Pepiot in my top 50, but seems like he's got upside to him. So I guess I could see where he's coming from, but that's the top 50. So that's going to do it for this video. That was really long. I'm sorry. This video is going to be a long one. So I apologize for that. I definitely had fun doing this. It's definitely interesting because Kylie's like a very top guy when it comes to prospects. And you know, I agree with a lot of his picks, and my dogs are going crazy right now. But overall, honestly, I agree with a lot of them. I think he's way too optimistic on some players though. Like some players that really aren't even doing that great at, like, you know, low A or high A. Like those players cannot be in the top 50 in my opinion if they're struggling at those levels. Like they just can't. So I agree with some. I like how bold he was because he definitely is bold on some of these. This is way different list than you would see if you're checking out the Pipeline or Baseball America. Like way different, and I respect that. So that's cool. Definitely interested to see how his list pans out, because it's bold. It's bold. But now that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, as always, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this idea of just me breaking down prospect lists in general. And let me know what you thought of Kylie's prospect list. It's pretty nuts, to be honest. So definitely give your opinions in the comments below. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. You guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.